Today, I'm going to talk to you about got to find a way. And and I start evaluating and looking and getting silent while everybody's watching the presidential debate last night. I was debating with myself. Am I making the right choices in my life? Am I doing the things I need to be doing at this point in my life? Am I on course to finishing strong? Am I doing what I need to do to build a legacy for my children and my children's children? Am I integrating time with my family and this expanded vision that I have of myself and the things that I feel that I can do? I was doing some evaluation. I know the debate was very important to a lot of folks. I've already voted for who I'm going to vote for, and hopefully you have voted. But I was taking time for me. And you know what I realized? I started looking at it, and I've been giving my power away. I got in the habit of doing that. And I decided to take my power back in different areas of my life. Remember when Paul said, the things I should do, I don't do. And the things I shouldn't do, I do. I sat and think and meditate and marinate myself in words of wisdom. And there are some things that I know I should do, like keeping a social distance from the refrigerator. I go to the refrigerator in the middle of the night and I can hear Tyrone said, "Did I just hear the refrigerator open, Mr. Brown?" Tyrone, you're supposed to be asleep. For those of you that don't know Tyrone is a squirrel. And we're bilingual. He understands me and I understand him. I'm just looking. I'm not doing anything serious. I might just drink a part of a smoothie that I fixed and had some left over. I'm not eating anything. Okay, that looks like a fat boy move to me. There you go. There you go. Come on, man. Anyhow, I started thinking. I've gotten in the habit of giving my power away to a lot of things. And when you give your power away to a lot of things, and power shows up in terms of energy, when you find yourself giving energy to other people's problems, and then when you need some, and you're going to need some, you feel so exhausted you don't have anything for yourself. I want you to like this page and share it. Like it and share it, because this is a download. And so I quote Ian Levinson a lot. She said, give to yourself until your cup runneth over. And then give to others from the overflow. Give to yourself until your cup runneth over. And then give to others from your overflow. I want to talk to you about, and I want you to think about your goals and dreams and to think about where your life might be. You might be facing foreclosure or eviction or lost your job or just indecisive about what life has done to you and what direction you want to take your life in, or the relationships that are just toxic. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she hadn't been long with this guy that she'd been with, and they got married. And I'm sure she saw some signs that this is not a good thing, and they had a dispute. And one of the things I said, don't marry anybody, until you've had an ugly argument so you can find out who they really are. Because anybody can be a pretender. And he showed himself. As my mama said, he showed his behind. And fortunately, he wanted to get violent. And thank God she's the kind of woman that said, hey, you ain't got to do this a second time. First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Okay? Maya Angelou said, if it walk like a duck, look like a duck, and quack like a duck, it's a duck. She said, you know what? It's not going to work. You got to go, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I just lost it. I understand. This is not going to work. Gotta go. There's things that we give our power to that can weaken us. If you have a goal, a dream, something you're working on, your business, your professional life, and stuff is going on in your personal life, it can be very distracting. People who have drama going on in their personal life. People who sit up and look at television and waiting for someone to snore, waiting for them to start snoring before they can go and ease in bed. You know too much about that. I want you to like this page and share it, okay? I want you to share. We'll keep it real, as the millennials say. I'm keeping it real. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here. There was a news conference. My mother, she was interviewed when I had my talk show years ago, and a reporter asked her, Mrs. Mamie Brown, how did you know you could raise 7 children by yourself? You never had any children. And she said, I just believed that the Lord would make a way somehow. I want to share with you today what I learned from my mother. I learned a lot of things from her. One of the things I learned from her, most of all, that's important in this thing called life. Because in this thing called life, you're either in a problem, or you just left one, or you are headed toward one. Have you noticed? Yes. And sometimes, I got up and I said, I'm just looking toward the end of the debate. I just saw a little tad bit of it, and I found it so exhausting. There's so much going on now. It's just tiring. You just want it to be over. And at the same time, we have to learn how we deal with it. I want you to think about your goals, about your dreams. I want you to hold a vision of the next greatest version of yourself. I want you to start seeing, if you've suffered a major setback, I want you to get excited. And I'm asking something that it's going to take some effort on your part. I want you to feel. There's something about feeling. I want you to feel the victory before it occurs. Why? Everything happens twice. First in the mind and in the without. I want you to feel and see in your mind's eye. Go to your imagination. The imagination is a preview of what's to come. Walt Disney. Go to your mind and feel relief. Whew. I got through that. I got through that. Thank you, Lord. I got through that. Claim it. See it. And then start working on it.
Tell us a little bit, for those, now you've impacted millions of people. So for those that maybe haven't, heard of you, which I would find surprising,
Next year will be 50 years. I'm 74 now. I used to think people in their 40s were old. Now that I'm 74, I feel like I was shining shoes at the Lord's Supper.
That's awesome. So give us a little bit of your history, a little bit of the background.
Well, I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. Whenever I give a presentation, now I say that I stand on the stage because of two women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And so Mama, Mrs. Mamie Brown, she only had a third grade education. She never had any children. And she worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. She cooked for them. And we ate food left over from the families that she cooked for. And she kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And so when I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and I failed again in the 8th grade. But I met a high school teacher that was very much like you, TJ, a person who had energy and a passion to transform people's lives. And he asked me to work out a problem. I told him I couldn't do it. He insisted. So I said, sir, I'm not one of your students. He said, do it anyhow. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. I said, what do you mean? He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart, but he's DT. And he said, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they erupted in laughter. And he came from behind his desk when I said, I am, sir. And he looked at me and he said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he interrupted my vision of myself. As you know, TJ, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And some psychologists call it their self-explanatory style. And he interrupted that. And that's what your program does. That if the people who come, they have a story they believe about themselves, and you interrupt that story and expand their vision with your guests, with your knowledge, with your experience, and with your communication style, and dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to make new choices with their lives. So that's why I'm excited and honored to be on your program.
Oh, that's really great, because you're right, that explanatory style, we set up blind spots that tell us we can't do this, or we listen to what people say, and we believe in some of those things sometimes, and it's not true. Right?
Absolutely. Faith comes by hearing and hearing, even if it's a lie. And so what happens and why the work that you're doing is so important, particularly when you consider we live in the greatest country in the world, yet and still, since 1999, suicide rate in the United States has increased over 25%. And I tell you, I still have not gotten over the suicide of Robin Williams and Anthony Bourdain. It has been a very challenging experience. I can't even watch the old movies when they come on of a guy that I admired so very much who took his life. And Anthony Bourdain, I knew him, just a very nice guy. Mm-hmm. But I believe today, and where my life is training messengers of hope. I mean, the speaking industry has been hijacked by people speak to sell. I speak to transform lives. And I believe you transform people's lives. They're going to want to purchase your products, but let that be the primary goal that motivates and inspires you. And so I believe right now, your program, your mindset, your level of consciousness, that this type of message is important. Why? Because it gives people hope. This program gives people hope. When there's hope in the future, it gives you power in the present. People who take their lives, they look at the situation they're dealing with and they feel overwhelmed. They just feel, I can't handle this anymore, or this pain is just too great. And then they hear a TJ that we all, I believe, have an energy signature. There's some people that when we speak, you're gonna hear both of us, but there are certain people, because of your energy signature, TJ, that when you speak, there's something about your voice, something about you, that they will trigger something in them, that they will hear you not just in their ears, but in their heart and in their spirit. And as a result of them hearing you, their lives will never be the same again. So my goal is to multiply and create thousands of messengers of hope and helping people to begin to be exposed to these voices so that we can begin to bring in a new world order.
Oh, that's really great. How would you respond when someone's back is up against the wall, they're facing failure time and time again? Let me just share a little quick story. Years ago, I worked with Tony Robbins. In 1999, I was working with Tony Robbins. I thought, model one of the best. It was either you, Stephen Covey, or it was Tony Robbins. And at the time, Mike, I had a little connection into Tony Robbins. So I went with Tony Robbins.
Yes.
And I got so pumped after a year of working there, I gave over 240 presentations. What a great training opportunity as I traveled the country and just was able to present so many times. And finally, he said on stage, talking about living your dreams, he said, when would now be a good time? He told the 5,000 people audience. And I remember I nudged my wife and I said, that's my calling, man. I'm making an excuse for myself. It's time for me to go live my dream. Anyway, long story short, I left the Tony Robbins organization. I called my parents. I said, Mom, Dad, can we and the kids stay at your home for just a couple months as I do my first seminar? Our home was actually rented out at the time because we were traveling so much, so I couldn't go there. And Mom and Dad said, absolutely. Well, those 2 months turned into 5 years in the basement of their house. And I thought, oh my gosh. And in my darkest moment, my wife says, you should go get a job. I said, but I hear Les Brown in me, right? My calling is to do this. There's gotta be a way. I can't just give up on the 10-yard line or whatever. And she said, well, what are you gonna do? And I said, honey, I'm gonna go write a book. And she said, you're gonna do what? Have you even read a book? Anyway, I said, I'm gonna go write a book. And we had a car repossessed, so we ended up with one card. And I decided I can't write where the kids are, so I drove down to the grocery store parking lot and I started to type. And 2 months later, If You Think You Can was written, and I'm telling you, it was published about 3 months later. And from then, my world in 2005 turned overnight. That book became an international bestseller back in 2005, and we just came out with the 15th version. It's coming out next week, and so it's just unbelievable. As I have always told audiences, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, figure out the right strategy, but never give up. I don't know, how do you counsel people to respond to those kinds of challenges without giving up?
Well, first of all, we always have a choice. There's something in us, TJ, as you know, that's greater than anything that we face, even though we have no evidence to point to prove it. Like as I'm speaking to you now,
That's right.
I had to prepare myself mentally because I'm in pain as I speak to you. Cancer has eaten 40% of my T1 vertebrae and metastasized to the T2, to T3, and to the C7. And I just spoke to an audience this morning, and I said, a doctor looked at me and he said 3 words that no one ever wants to hear. He said, you have cancer. And the audience got quiet. And I said, sir, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yes, and you're ugly too.
That's good.
I said, no, he didn't. I said, said, I got issues. I got issues. But here's the thing. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. So I could have said, and even now I could say, this pain is just too great. But my affirmation to myself, whenever I'm going through a tough time, and I'm a 27-year cancer conqueror, no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. And I think that people who make it through the storms of life, and we're always going to have storms. Forrest Gump said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. My book of life says that think it not strange that you will face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. It's called life. And so what's key is to visualize and see yourself on the other side and hold that vision. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. Hold that vision and say to yourself, wow, that came out great. I made it through. I learned some things. Every day for 27 years, I've been saying, I thank God I'm cancer free. And people say, wait a minute, you've been saying that for 27 years. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen. I said, no, that's not true. Number one, I'm still here. Augmandino say, persist until you succeed. Well, just think, 27 years. Look, when will a baby walk? It will walk when it walks. When will it talk? It will talk when it talks, and some talk sooner than others. And so many times we give up out of frustration and lack of patience. And to me, the people that make it through have a series of perseverance, persistence, and patience. And they show up with that every day until they get the desired results that they want. I know, I don't believe, I know that I'm going to be free of cancer, that this is not unto death. There's something that I have to align myself with because cancer cells gone crazy. And so as I'm working on myself and working on the goals and dreams and other areas of my life that I have not resolved yet, that I'm just persistent and I'll keep coming back again and again and again. And as I told my children, even a broke clock is right twice a day. That's what time our brother's going to break through.
That is so awesome. Despite the cancer challenge, if you call it a challenge or not, you're still out.
Because you get to know things about yourself that you don't know.
Yeah, right.
That it introduces you to a part of yourself that you're not familiar with. That it helps you to begin to prioritize things and determine what's important, what's not important. There are things that I would get angry about that I just let pass. For instance, I was coming down the sidewalk yesterday when I arrived here in New Jersey, in Philadelphia, and a guy had his luggage on the sidewalk and he saw me coming. All he had to do was just pull his luggage back so that I can come by. He refused to move it. He's standing there with his wife. And so, which meant that I had to move my luggage and carry it into the streets and then get back on the sidewalk. And so he said, good, I'm glad you did that. And I said, thank you. And I got into the car that was waiting for me. And I said to my friend, I said, you know what? There was a time that I'd have whooped his ass. You know, I wanted to look at him at one time. I'd have said, you about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. I took my stuff on the sidewalk, and that wasn't enough. You wanted to taunt me. You wanted to tease me. You want to act like you punked me out. And I said, but at 74, no, because every emotion, I mean, I laugh a lot. Why? 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. Think about that. 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. So people who are watching us now, after we get through, they will get sick for 20 years. Now, 1 minute of of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. Yeah. So I deliberately don't get angry. I choose not. Anger is a wind that blows out the lamp of the mind. I study psychoneuroimmunology. I know that the thoughts that we have, they create gene expressions. I know it creates a certain type of chemistry in our body that's toxic. And so I can't afford, as a cancer conqueror, to get angry. I choose not to go there. And we always have a choice. And I believe that the type of program that you have, it gives people the mental and emotional and psychological and spiritual muscle to have a clarity of mind to stand back and say, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to let this get to me. I'm better than this, and rise above it and move on with their lives.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing all that. You said, you put a little nugget in there I like, which I want to draw attention to, which you just said some people give up on their goals because they lack patience. And that made me think of the law of the harvest, which has 3 laws, right? You reap what you sow.
Yes.
Increased returns. You get more than you sow, right? And then the third thing is delayed gratifications. And so sometimes we give up on our goals because we haven't given time for those seeds to nourish and bear fruit, right? We give up a little bit too early. And anyway, any thoughts on that?
Yes, well, there are some things that you're pursuing. I see that we grow from people and from projects. I'll be a better person at the end of this program because of our communication. We grow from people and projects. And so when we have projects, they challenge us. Why? Because we always, if we want to grow and we're serious, choose projects that's beyond our comfort zone. Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been.
That's good.
And so there are experiences that you're going to have in the process. Some things will happen to you, and some things will happen for you. And so I believe that those things that happen for us that sometimes we're aware of, but most of the time we're not. That's what psychologists call your scotomas, your blind spots.
Right.
That a lady, she's an intuitive, and she wrote me a note when she found out that I was a 27-year cancer conqueror, and she says, "This is not unto death to you." She said, "Search your heart and find out what's there." Because, and she was one of the people that gave me a book years ago that I read called Who's the Matter with Me? And what I realized, TJ, and this is the first time I ever talked about this publicly, that somewhere in me that I had not consciously recognized that I had anger at my birth mother and father. How can you bring someone in this world who didn't choose to be here and walk away? And even though we are told, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth unto those things which are before, I woke up in the middle of the night, and sometimes you can get a message from a movie.
Right.
And a movie with Tom Cruise, it's called Magnolia. And I never saw the whole movie, but there was a quote that woke me up around 3:15, I never forget. And the quote was, "We might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us." And so I have unresolved stuff in me because for a period of time, I saw myself as have been given away. But there's been a shift in my consciousness. Now I look at my life and I realize I was chosen with love, that God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And that's why I know, now that I've come to grips with, now that I had to get some help, and I believe, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. Yes. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. And I said, "You said this is not unto death for me. Search my heart." And I said, "Can you help me go there?" And she did, because sometimes somebody can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. And in that session, I realized the anger and the hatred that I had for 2 people that I don't even have faces for. I've never seen my birth mother or birth father. And so I had to resolve that. I had to forgive myself first and then forgive them. And that's when the healing takes place, because cancer, a cell's gone crazy. Yeah. And so now, as I move to a place of love, God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them. As I move to a place of love for them, that now I'm in harmony and in integrity with who I am as a person, and I have forgiven myself, I've forgiven them, and I'm living this mission of making the world a better place than how I found it, of being a source of light and hope and inspiration for people.
And you're doing an awesome job. There is no long-term benefit for being a grudge holder, holding resentment toward people. I always tell people say, well, do things bug you? Well, things bug me, but listen,
Yeah.
I don't live there. And I always tell people, I let things roll off my back. You can criticize me all day long. And you know what? I'm not going to internalize that.
Yes.
Right? Because I know who I am, and I'm thankful for who I am. Anyway.
Yes. And that is real, because the stuff we take on is they said hating someone is like drinking poison and say, okay, now you're going to die. No, it's not going to happen like that. Yes, no. We all need coaching on how to let some things go. One of the things that I teach is let go or be dragged. That there are certain things that you know that you need to let go of. Otherwise, it's going to compromise your power and it's going to drag you down. And it takes time to do that.
It does. It does. So in your book, I remember this story.
Yes.
Such a great book. Anyway, you walked in, I think it was to a junior high or an elementary school, and you said, there's greatness in this room. If you're here, would you please stand?
Yes.
And you had to say it over and over. And then
Yes.
one young person, didn't they stand up and they said, here I am.
Yeah, here I am. And that young man, I'm working with him today.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, he's been with me since that time. He is an attorney, and he also worked with youth. We go to prisons and juvenile detention centers together. Yes, and he's truly manifesting his greatness. And I'm proud to say I'm one of his mentees, because it's a seesaw relationship. At first, I started out being his mentor, but he has incredible skills with the millennials and with technology that I don't have.
Oh.
And so he's teaching me how to connect with them and how to use technology to further the work that I have, that I'm doing, and to create non-performance income. So this thing called life, I believe that you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach. And he's teaching me, and I'm proud of it.
That's awesome. All right. I don't know. What would you say to anyone? Do you have any, like, let's say steps or just some nuggets that you can share if there's someone out there that's listening, that's trying to achieve a goal? What are some of your steps to achieving goals?
Well, if we look at where we are today, because things have changed dramatically from when you read Live Your Dreams in 1992. I've just completed my new book called You Gotta Be Hungry.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, you gotta be hungry, unleash your greatness. And so when you said that today, I just cracked up. I said, oh my God, that means I'm on the right path. So the key to it today is, one, is the kind of platform that you've established, mindset transformation. Mm-hmm. As a man thinketh, so is he. As he continues to think, so he remains. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. You go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. And so mindset transformation, it's an ongoing process. The next thing that's very important is to upgrade your skill set. and that this is the era of the 3 C's: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. So you want to find at least 3 areas that you master, that you do that extremely well. I train speakers how to tell their story, and so I can teach them how to become a global voice. And in addition to speaking and training speakers, I also know how to tell a story. I know how to present with power. I know how to speak with my power voice. I've got a training coming up in December called Discover Your Power Voice and Master Your Cash Flow. So by my speaking and my training speakers, and the next thing that I'm able to do, I can sell a product. I can sell a concept. I used to be a salesperson for Sears. And so through my skills as a speaker, as a trainer of speakers, and as a person who can sell presentation power to make a point, to bring out the best in people, or to sell a product. Those are 3 areas that allows me to control my personal economy. So the average person, if they are serious about learning how to control their destiny and controlling their own personal economy, they have to be engaged in continuous, ongoing processes to upgrade their knowledge and their skills. Knowledge is the new currency. We're going toward a time that's called the end of work, that because of technology, over 20,000 jobs, according to the Department of Labor, being lost every day. So we're going toward a time where the majority of that jobs will be done by artificial intelligence or robots, and that's not too far away. So the key is that as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams, work on your mindset continuously, which will give you the courage and the mental resiliency to weather the stormy times that we're going to go through in life invariably. Continuously expand your skill set. Robert Schuller said, you either expand or you are expendable. Right. And create a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. By doing that, collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, whatever goals that you have, you can reach a minimum of 87% of those goals by transforming your mindset, increasing your skill set, and having a team of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. So you're spending most of your time, is that what I'm hearing you say? You're teaching other people how to grow their platforms?
I train people who are serious. I don't work with everybody. I'm 74, so with the time that I have left, I want to work with people that are hungry.
Hungry?
Yes.
Do you still eat sweet potato pie?
I can't do it anymore, but I dream about it every night. I want to. I want to get a 6-pack like you. I got a 1-pack now. 5 of my covered up.
Oh man, some things hasn't changed, man. I feel like I'm laying in my bed listening to Les Brown when I was a teenager right now. Oh my goodness.
Yes, man.
You have
to meet you now. I can't wait for us to meet face to face. What city are you in?
I'm out of Seattle. And so
okay, excellent. Welcome to the United States. So I look forward to coming there.
Are you going to be up here soon?
No, I haven't. I've been on the schedule for years. It's been over 20 years since I've been to Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Has it really? Well, I'll have to fly out to you somewhere. How about that?
I want us to share the stage together. I'd like to see you before an audience.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious. Why not? I don't put things off anymore. And I think about Wayne Dyer and I had planned to do a special for PBS to raise funds for them because the Trump administration cut the budget of public television. And we kept putting it off. And then he called me and said, Les, I want you to meet me in Orlando. Let's go and sign the deal. And I said, okay. And a few days later, somebody called me and said, are you online? I said, no. I said, go online. Mm-hmm. Have you heard? I said, heard what? Wayne Dyer is gone. I said, come on, we just talked. We got a meeting scheduled for PBS. We're gonna do a special together. I said, no, that's not happening. He died of a heart attack in his sleep. And so now I teach people, live each day as if it were your last. I remember when I was married to Gladys Knight, we were in Las Vegas and Frank Sinatra was at our table and I overheard him say to a guy, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be.
Well, if you're serious about that, and I believe you are,
yes,
you tell me when and where to be. I will fly there. I will be there. Hey, I would be honored if you would allow me to come on stage for 30 seconds.
I know. We're going to do it. I tell you what, I'm going to schedule an event in LA, so I'm going to have you on there, so we'll make it happen.
All right, let's do that. Hey, listen, Les, there's so much more we could talk about. I just want you to know that I'm privileged to know you. I feel like over the years, you were part of my core in terms of personal development and growing. You gave me hope, and I think part of that hope came, truthfully, is I was held back in the first grade. By the fourth grade, I realized I couldn't read very well, and they would take me out of social studies class, and they would take me upstairs to this other room with 3 other students, and I sat in extra small tables, extra small chairs, and they would have me read cartoon books and then take a comprehension test at the end. So I locked on the belief that I'm not a reader. Maybe some people are born to read and some people aren't, and I watched my older brother who read all the time, and then I didn't read until I was a junior in high school. And it was around that time that I came across you. And I remember listening to that old speech you gave, which was awesome. I have the whole speech written in a journal, by the way, but you said in there that the average American reads 1 book a year. And I remember hearing that and thinking, no, as Jim Rohn said, all leaders are readers. And I think you actually said that once too.
Yes, right. And yes, 1 book a year, and said in there, said that if you discipline yourself to read 1 book a month, in 5 years, when the average American read 5 books and you'd have read 60 books, that will make you an expert.
Wow. Wow, what a great reminder for people.
Yes, absolutely. Knowledge is the new currency, and your ability to present and relationship capital. Quality people. I teach OQP, only quality people. Many people, TJ, never achieve their goals because they have too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives. Now, some people say, well, can I change them? No, it's a full-time job changing yourself. And I believe that you have to really focus on yourself. There's a quote by Iyanla Vanzant that I love, and I'm practicing. And it says, give to yourself until your cup runneth over, and then give to others from the overflow. I tried to help my twin brother lose weight, and I gained 14 pounds.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's real too, man. If you know someone who's hungry, who's serious, who has a passion for changing lives, and who feel that changing lives is a calling on their life. As I said, the speaking industry has been hijacked by speakers who speak to sell.
Yeah.
I want speakers who want to make a difference in life, that they feel that this is what I'm supposed to do. I believe I was born to speak. I talk in my sleep. So I'm looking for the one. I'd like to have 70, because 7 is my lucky number. 77. I was born February 17th. I'm one of 7 children. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. I tell you, 7 is my lucky number, my brother. All right?
Yeah,
I'm looking for 77 people who will email me, who are hungry, and say, Les, I'm the one. I'm the one. And I'd like for them, before they call me, to go on YouTube and watch Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, where I was speaking to over 80,000 people.
I said, because I'm educable mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that man, Mr. Leroy Washington, did something for me. He started planting seeds in my mind.
And I tell the story about, I said to Mr. Washington, sir, I'm the one. I'm the one, when he said he's looking for one student that he has impacted that will make the fact that he came to Booker T. Washington High School worthwhile. One who wanted to go out and make the community proud, make their family proud. And I said, sir, I want to make my mother proud. And that was what motivated me to get into this area. He was a speech and drama teacher who helped me to discover my voice.
I want you to write this down, Choosing Your Future. It's a program that we've created that's designed to put in place for you to work on yourself. A systematic process that changes your mindset. It's possible, it's necessary, it's you, it's hard, it's worth it, it's done. It's 6 CDs. Repeat after me, please. It's possible. Yeah, see, the easiest thing that I do now is come up on stage and speak to you. That's easy. But the most difficult thing that I've ever done, and it took me years to do, was to believe that I can do it. To believe that I could stand up and not be afraid and speak from my heart and think and be able to present. To believe that that was possible for me. For 14 years, I didn't do it. Mike Williams said, Les, you can do more than what you're now doing. But I didn't believe it. I just couldn't see myself doing it. I'm saying to you, there's some things that you can accomplish that you can't see right now. My favorite book says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you when you're willing to say yes, when you're willing to move forward, when you're willing to come back again and again and again in pursuit of your dream. Life will respond to you. You'll discover some things about yourself. Mindset transformation is very important. Be ye not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You don't want to think like everybody else. You want uncommon thinking. Here's the other thing, expand your skill set. This is the age of what the late Peter Drucker calls the era of the 3 C's, accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. So you have to expand your skill set to stay ahead of technology and cheap labor abroad. When I was a kid, you got on an elevator, I was an elevator boy. What floor, please? We operated elevators manually. So then we're going through creative destruction. Somebody created an elevator that didn't require a person being there employed to close the door and take the people to the designated floor. When I was a kid, girls would say, what do you want to do when you become an adult? I want to be an operator, a long-distance operator. Years ago, when you made a long-distance call, you had to call a long-distance operator. Then somebody created technology that you can dial direct. Am I making this up? Anybody remember use that call a long-distance operator? It's called creative destruction. Somebody created technology that we don't have to do that anymore. So today, what multi-level marketing does allow you to secure your future, to stay ahead of technology and cheap labor abroad. You can hire a PhD or an MBA in the Philippines or India for $2.60 an hour. So what you're doing is you're staying ahead of the game because we're going through continuously creative destruction. Think about Mr. Washington. Young man, yes, sir. What do you want to do with your life? I want to buy my mother a home, sir. I want to take care of my mother. You do? Yes, sir. I want to make my mother proud. How can you say you want to make your mother proud and you were in the dean's office the other day for fighting? Sir, they call me DT, the dumb twin. So you're going to fight them? Yes, sir. Why, Brown? Why? Anger is the wind that blows out the lamp of the mind. How do I get even, sir? Tell me. They pick on me all the time because it takes me longer to learn things than others. I'm not like my sister at the University of Miami. I'm not like my brother. They always compare me to him. Mr. Brown, you want to get even? Yes, sir. He said, you have a good memory, young man. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir. Remember these words by Frank Sinatra. The best revenge is massive success. Become massively successful. That's how you become even. Thank you, sir. Mr. Brown? Yes, sir. Why did you sign those papers? What are you talking about? You're the first student in special education that was labeled educable mental retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. You failed in the 8th grade. I fought for you. I saw something in you. You've got greatness in you. I know you're not as fast as your brother. I know you're not like Margaret Ann, your sister. But there's a hunger in you, sir. And I fought for you to get that, and I saw your name. I couldn't believe it when you signed it to somebody else. Why did you do that? Several teachers met with me and said that you wouldn't be with me at Florida A&M University to help me. Mr. Washington, they said if I didn't make the honor roll at Booker T. Washington High School, I would not make it at Florida A&M. You've been like a father to me. I never would want to bring embarrassment to your name. Mr. Brown, I know it's harder for you. But once you learn something because of your hunger, you got it, you master it. He said, I don't care what they said. But did you believe that you could go there and graduate? To be honest with you, sir, no, sir. Not without you, sir. Mr. Brown? Yes, sir. Listen to me. Yes, sir. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. Whoever recruited you to become involved in their organization, they saw something in you. Whoever asked you to be a part of their team, they saw greatness in you. See, you need people in your life who can see things that you can't see. You want to find whoever got you in the business and say to them, thank you. I told Robert Boyd, who recruited me for Best Line Products, thank you, Bob. I don't know what you saw, but I'm not going to disappoint you. You find whoever recruited you, because you are looking for eagles in this business. You're not looking for people who need more. You're looking for people who want more. Let us say together, it's possible. Everybody together, it's possible. I can live my dreams. I will work on myself every day. I will retrain my thinking every day. I will listen to audio programs. I would read 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day. I will turn off my television and turn on my life. Let us say together, it's necessary to detoxify your life. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you are serious about reaching your goals? Raise your hands, please. Very good.